Welcome back to Comic Trades Monthly. We have a camera on this episode because it is our 100th episode special, Dane!
So you're telling me I shouldn't pick my nose this episode?
I mean, all I'm saying is that those faces that you make at me during recording are now recorded for posterity. I don't know what you want from me.
Can't incriminate myself. Okay, I have to be nice.
Exactly. We have to be, like, we're on presents. Everything's gonna be wild. Why do we have wings in front of us, Dane?
We decided to do our own little Hot Ones thing where we have 5 questions that we're going to be asking each other, and I don't know why we both came up with this idea, why I agreed to it. We just decided to torture ourselves.
Now, I'm not a spicy person. You did, like, we have it on our YouTube channel, because you did the Pocky hot
one chip challenge.
Yeah. That was like 20 minutes of video that I edited down because most of it was you just going, I don't like it.
And that was also me going through a gallon nearly of whole milk.
Oh, man.
Whole milk with still having the cream and all that. Just not helping.
Okay. I'm nervous about this, but in the spirit of the season, this will be probably coming out in January. We got each other Christmas presents, so I figured before I hate you for continuing to do this podcast with me, because I know this was my idea, and you agreed to it, so you are just as culpable. I got you a Christmas present. Yours is right there. I would love it if you would open up your Christmas present.
Alrighty. You know, I was going through a binder the other day that Jessica puts all of our important stuff in, and the Xavier Institute.
It's there? Oh, that makes me so happy to hear.
Venomized Deadpool PS5 controller holder.
Exactly.
That is awesome.
I saw that and I immediately thought of you. I was a little torn between, do I want regular Deadpool or do I want Venom Pool? And I decided, nah, Venom Pool is right up Dane's alley.
That is so awesome. I do love it. And I've been looking for a place to put my PS5 controller.
There you go.
Now I can say, kids, this is mine. Back off.
He can hold more things than just your controller. He can hold your phone, he can hold cards, he can't hold your massive ego, but, you know.
But nothing can.
You know, when we do a podcast like this, yeah, it's bound to happen.
Right.
Okay.
So your Christmas gift is something that Jessica did help me come up with the idea for.
Oh.
And as soon as she said it, I was like, no, that is exactly what I have to do. I know that I've teased you about it before, but this is a red-green colorblind safe Christmas.
Okay. See, the packaging is it's heavy. Oh my goodness, it's heavy. Oh goodness. We've got books.
A first edition Wizard's First Rule.
Whoa! Oh, this is gorgeous.
And there is a funny story I have for that.
Okay.
I love that series, but I cannot specifically read Wizard's First Rule anymore.
Okay.
Because 2 weeks after my dad died, I started reading that.
Okay.
Have you ever read it?
I have not. I've read other things of Terry Goodkind, but I have not read Wizard's First Rule.
Within the first 10 pages, the character's father is murdered.
No! Dane, no!
Yeah, so 2 weeks after my dad died, and I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm fine. And I was working at Home Depot at the time in the break room, and I'm sobbing, and the manager of the store had to call me into his office to check to see if I was okay.
Buddy. Well, I'm very excited to read that. That'll probably be my Christmas break reading. Well, because when you work at a school, nothing happens in the winter break era. So, there's another book in here. Oh, Spider-Man with Yusuke Asoa.
He's written the manga versions of The Mandalorian as well.
Oh, this looks lovely.
But it's about a high school kid who finds Spider-Man's costume. And Spider-Man's nowhere to be found. Well, he's holding on to it at first, thinking, okay, as soon as I find Spider-Man, I'll give this back to him. But then he starts putting the suit on, and he has no superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing he has is the web shooters.
Ooh, that'll be exciting. I'm really excited to read this. I cannot wait.
Turned out to be one of the best mangas I've read in quite a while.
Okay, cool. I'm excited. And this will be probably, I'm going to set this aside, little white cheddar.
I figured, black package, white cheddar.
Yeah,
Colorblind safe.
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. Okay, so, dear viewer and dear listeners, we're about to partake of this, so I apologize for any mouth noises now. I'll do my best to edit those out.
We'll do ASMR.
Oh, yes. Oh, I hate that. I hate it so much already. So I have 5 hot sauces here. I have measured almost all of them except for one because one of them is a local brand. It's like we bought it at a local farmer's market kind of thing. And we just have some just generic wings. I'm not pre-tossing them with the hot sauce. We can just decide how much hot sauce we want to go with.
So we're deciding how much pain we actually want to endure.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna kowtow if anybody's like taking that like tiny minuscule bite. You get the hot sauce, you get the hot sauce. I did a dab of one of these and it sat on my tongue for half an hour. So
and you're just like, this is unpleasant.
It's
but
just
I'm okay.
It's just unpleasant. That's really what it comes down to. It's not fun. All right. So shall we begin?
Yeah, let's
All
do
right.
it.
Let's go with the Cholula first. That is the first and foremost. This is somewhere between 1,000 Scoville and 2,000 Scoville. So
this isn't one of the questions that I'm going to ask you,
Okay.
but I noticed that the bottle's nearly empty. How often do you use Cholula?
I love Cholula. I think Cholula has a really great flavor profile. I make Kaylin makes nachos pretty consistently. And I don't know if we want to share plates or not. Does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I like Cholula. I think Cholula is a good flavor because I feel like a lot of hot sauces are just heat for the sake of heat, and I'm not here for that. I want to experience a flavor.
Right.
It just adds a little bit of a kick, and I enjoy that. So I had a breakfast burrito the other day, and I just drowned that thing in it, and it was so good. Do you want to ask the first question? We're going to be doing like 2 questions for each wing. I'll have a question, you'll have a question, right?
So I do have my questions written down because, I wanted to seem professional.
Ooh.
I knew that I'd forget them if I didn't.
Okay.
So, what made you want to start the podcast in the first place?
Taking my first bite. Cholula is so good. Cholula is just like such a good flavor profile. What made me want to start the podcast in the first place was I wanted an excuse to read more comic books. I think what it came down to is I was doing the D&D podcast that I had called Dungeons and Chill, and I just wanted to have this like comic book vibe, and I hadn't been reading as much. I used to have like the classic hold at a local comic book shop. Shout out to Black Cat Comics, and I would then take care of like read as much as I could. And with my new job, I didn't have that as much of an opportunity to read. So I figured if I do this, then I have a chance to read a book and I can start a small community of people who want to read and see past the comic book like vibe of like nerdy things. So that's really what it came down to is like gives me an excuse to hang out with cool people, maybe meet new people who want to read comics and talk about comic books that I wouldn't normally consider. Yeah. Is that a sufficient answer?
That is.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So now it's your turn.
Okay.
So for my first question was when you read a comic book, what's the first thing that jumps out to you? Like, is it the art? Is it the name? Is it the title, the publisher? What jumps out to you?
It's kind of a combination of all of those things.
Mhm.
For me, with my autism,
Mhm.
if I notice something and it's super bright, super colorful, that will initially catch my attention.
Mhm.
But if I don't know the author, if they've written books that I've never heard of, there's a part of me that's just kind of, nah,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But then when I start opening the book and looking at it, that also tends to draw me in if there's lots of action or the art style is vibing with me. There have been multiple books that I've picked up that I wouldn't originally pick up in the first place. For example, Chew. That was one of the books that I've seen before. I've seen it on shelves. I've been, it sounds interesting, but the art style doesn't really vibe. And pick it up and wound up loving it. Saga, as soon as I saw the first page, that just sucked me right in.
The woman giving birth.
Well, it's the woman giving birth, but then it's also the seamless blending of high fantasy and high sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's two genres that they're so very close together, but you never see them blend.
Yeah.
And Brian Michael Bendis got them to blend.
Brian K. Vaughan.
Brian K. Vaughan. Sorry, too many Brians.
Yeah.
I mean, there's way too many Brians, but like Neil Gaiman, if I see his name on a book, it doesn't really matter what the art style is. I know that he, as an author, I enjoy so much that I'll pick it up and give it a try.
Yeah.
So it is kind of a combination of all of those things. And if it scratches my tism, then I'll pick it up and read it.
Yeah. I think for me, like, I like the idea of following an author, but my brain doesn't remember names that well. We've done 100 episodes of these. Every single one, I'm like, who the fuck was that guy? Well, oh yeah, it was Mike. Oh fuck. So for me, like a lot of the time, it kind of comes down to that, like, what's the vibe that it's giving off? I remember I started reading a Hickman called Secret, and it was like his own title, and I didn't know it was a Hickman. I just, hey, the cover looks good, and I definitely like. It's a comic book. You got to judge a lot by the comic book cover sometimes.
Right.
So I think for me, it's a lot of like, it comes down to what does the art style look like? Does it grab me? Is it evocative in some way or another? And I really like the idea of just like getting like, I now know way more about Hickman and like, oh, I love Hickman. Hickman's so good. I love all of these different artists that are bringing these different characters to light. I think one of my favorite things about the Sandman series is that there's a different artist on each volume, sometimes different issues. So it's just really cool to see that come to life.
Yeah, and I mean, I've also always been the kind of person to follow characters. And ever since you introduced me to Deadpool, I followed Deadpool, you know, from the Joe Kelly, Ed McGuinness run to the Daniel Way.
Great one.
And I don't know if you ever picked it up, but did you ever read the all new Marvel?
I did. The one where they introduced like he has a daughter.
Yeah, the one that was written by Brian Posehn, the stand-up comedian.
Yeah, I did read that one. That one was a lot of fun. I liked that one a lot.
I loved that one because it was very funny and it was still close enough to the Daniel Way style that I was like, yeah, I'm good with this.
Yeah.
But there are certain characters that, you know, you love the character, but then certain authors or artists pick it up and you're just like, I'm just going to skip this for a while.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Like Moon Knight. I used to love him back in the early 90s when I was a kid. And then he started getting really, really bizarre, which I love bizarre. But at the same time, I was like, I'll go to read other things. And then I stopped reading comics for a while.
Yeah.
And then I picked up the Brian Michael Bendis run of Moon Knight and I loved it. That also got me into Bendis. And so it's just whatever vibes with me.
Yeah. Let's go into the next one then. We did Cholula.
Yes.
I think it's going to be,
Let's see. So
I think it might be that.
7.6 and 9.5.
Yeah. So this one is Hot Sauce El Yucateco. So somewhere between 7.6 thousand Scoville to some just shy of 10.
Shake it up.
Shake it up. This is what they don't show you on the behind the scenes of Hot Ones, of just like that strange like in between space of like getting, oh, that's so much.
I I could just see the look on your face. You're like, oh no.
Oh God, no! What have I done? All right, all right, let's go.
All right, let's see just how much I'm gonna torture myself.
Here we go. We're gonna go for a big bite because that was a big dollop of it.
All right, so what book or episode was your least favorite?
Preacher.
Preacher.
100% Preacher. Oh my gosh, I think about that book and how infuriating it was. It's hot. It's not. I'm in pain. And I'm going for water just because I don't want to into the microphone all day.
Right.
I think about that book at least like once a month and how upset it got me because it was just so bad. I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't like any of the direction that those characters were going on. The story was like something that I really wanted to get into. I really wanted, like, it's angels and demons on Earth fucking with humans. Love every bit of it. And it just didn't sit with me. And I heard so many great things about Garth Ennis and Preacher, and it has a TV show. And it just, I thought, do I want to continue doing this podcast if I have to read shitty comic books like this? Why would I want to like continue reading like this? And I was so mad, and I don't know what I wanted to do after that, but I needed a break for a little bit. And I remember I watched, I don't remember what TV show it was, but it was just something like equally terrible in the sense of like, this isn't good. But I was like, at least this is fun. At least I'm not watching, incest happen on my page or something like that. Like,
Right.
It was the one that I was just like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this anymore. What about you? What's your one that like, that's not my question, but
Right. It's not
yeah.
your question, but it's the answering my own question.
Yes.
It's a tie between, I was telling Jessica this actually. We went to Walmart this morning to go pick up some pictures that we printed off. And I was like, I'm thinking that David's probably going to say Batman, the Blue, the Gray, and the Bat, or Batman, Digital Justice. And she goes, why are you thinking that? I was like, because I absolutely hated those books as well. They were so bad.
They were awful.
And Digital Justice was bad for a completely different reason than the Blue, the Gray, and the Bat. The Blue, the Gray, and the Bat was just racist as fuck.
Yeah.
And incredibly misogynistic, like, to the point where less enlightened me was just like, this is problematic. I still don't like this. This is bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely those two. They're tied for my least favorite.
That's fair. And like, Digital Justice didn't even come out because it was so bad that the file got corrupted while I was editing it. Like I loaded it up. I'll do a macro and micro edit of like, okay, macro is we got to do the condenser, we've got to do a limit gate, we got to do noise gate, all that stuff. And while it was running that, the whole thing just crashed. And I was like, I've never seen Audacity do that before.
And you're just like, okay, cool. I guess Audacity says no. This is terrible enough.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it.
I just remember that one being bad. I don't remember like hating it in the same way that I hated Preacher.
Right.
But yeah, yeah, that was another one. The racism and
like indigenous Robin speaking like Tonto from Lone Ranger, and I'm talking the old school black and white, not the problematic Army Hammer Johnny Depp version.
It's all problematic. Yeah. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah, they're problematic for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
In the old days, it was because they were racist because they thought that was good.
Yeah.
They thought, yeah, this is normal.
Yeah.
But the Army Hammer Johnny Depp one, it's like, no, you're trying to pay homage to it by saying, oh yeah, remember the good old days?
Yeah. Okay, my question.
Actually, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Because I said book or episode. I will say my least favorite episode we did was Atlas Rising.
Is that the food eating one? Yeah.
That was so bad for me because we had this guy who, we're like, oh yeah, he's a comic creator.
And he eats food competitively. Yeah.
But then when we're asking him these questions about the book, he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
They just used my likeness. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, it was such a bummer. And I remember trying to pivot on that one so hardcore and making it positive and just it was one of those times where I don't think we had the camera going at the time.
Nope, we did not.
But I just wanted to look at you and go, what the fuck am I getting myself into? Yeah. No, that's a fair episode to not enjoy.
Yeah. Okay, now your question.
So my question is like, out of all the things that we've read first volumes, maybe 2 volumes of a thing. Is there a series or book that you've been like, I want to go deeper into this world?
There's actually 2.
Okay.
One, actually, I have been diving into,
Mhm.
and that's thanks to my beautiful and lovely wife, Jessica.
Uh-huh. Shout out to Jess, the real one, dealing with the toilet afterwards.
But it's Saga.
Mhm.
She's wound up getting me the Ultimate Editions, volumes 1 and 2.
Uh-huh.
So I've got the first 36 issues of Saga,
Wow.
and it's such a great series.
So good.
The other one is one that you love oh so much,
Mhm.
Berserk.
Yeah?
Yes, I do want to keep going further into Berserk because I keep thinking about it. I keep looking at it and I'm just like, I gotta do a little bit more. And algorithms, I fucking hate
Mhm.
sometimes, because I was on the PlayStation store the other day and I found out that there's a Berserk Dynasty Warriors game.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw that, I was like, chances are David has this or he's played it and he just...
I haven't played it yet, but I've watched a lot of videos of it. Okay, so there's a couple guys on YouTube called like Cartoonist Kayfabe, and they read the first volume and they were in the same boat as us of like, this is not a good guy, and like, when does it get good? And like, we've heard all these great things about it. What's going on? And now that I have read almost 200 chapters of the book, right? The production company is like, hey, we've got a little bit of a story, so we're gonna kind of continue out without Miura, even though he died. And I have loved every bit of it. I got Quinn, one of my other partners, on reading it, and they devoured it. They read all 300 chapters in like a week and a half.
That's impressive.
I'm not even there yet, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just like, I'm more in love with you now. I've also started reading Invincible. Like, I'm caught up on the TV show. I don't know if you're caught up on the TV show yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. It was good. It was so good that I was like, I should read the comic. Like, I'm like halfway through issue 2 right now, and or like volume 2, and I was like, this is different than the TV show. Not bad, not better, but different. Like, Mark's best friend in the TV show, he's super gay, and he's like just being a high schooler, and it doesn't feel that authentic.
And voiced by Andrew Ronellis.
Yeah.
Mormon musical.
He has a moment when he deduces that Mark is a superhero, and he's like, hey, could you take me flying? And he goes, just don't make it gay. And I was like, whoa, this is definitely written in 2003. Yeah. Whoa. So yeah, those are my big 2, is like Berserk. I'm so glad that I continued reading on that one because it's so good. There's so many great artistic moments where the main character Guts is just overwhelmed by feelings or in an action and something, and the art is just top notch. It does get a little risque every now and again.
Like, I was reading the first volume the other day, and you open it up, and he's having sex with that demon on the first page, and I was like, I'm gonna let Naomi read this. No.
Not gonna let No. I would also not recommend Naomi on our next month's read, but that's spoilers for the end of the episode. Okay. So yeah, let's do the next hot one, or hot wing. All right. Well, I think it's that one that you just had your hand on.
That's quite a jump.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing when I buy hot wings, apparently. So this one is Marie Sharp's habanero pepper sauce. This goes from 100,000 to 350,000. This is based purely on the fact that it's a habanero pepper, and not the hot sauce itself, because Marie doesn't have a Scoville unit measurement. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this one's a lot more watery, I want to say, so be prepared.
More vinegar based.
Yeah, which is funny because like when I was reading the website, it was like, we're not vinegar based. So it definitely Like, it's definitely more of a vinegar smell.
Right. But we're not vinegar based.
But we're not vinegar based. What do I know about hot sauces? This is the guy that like gets an upset tummy when he looks at a jalapeno.
You starting to get a little bit
No,
spice high yet?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I think the next one is the one that I'm very, very afraid of, because we're halfway through. We've got 30 minutes of decent quality audio.
So I do want to point out, I love how yours is like very thinly, and mine, if you take a look at it, it's very thickly put on there.
Give me that fucking thing. You don't get to shape.
You.
No, you don't get to shape me. There we go. You happy on that? You think that's a fair?
You are the law.
I am the law. All right, here we go. It's very vinegary.
But it's not vinegar based. So, sorry, opening that really quick. What made you reach out to me to do the first episode in the first place?
That one's hot. That one is definitely hot. My mouth is a little numb, but not terribly so. You were the first person that came to my mind when I thought about the podcast in general. Because we had such a great vibe. And I was thinking about it in definitely more of a podcast environment than it was just two buddies hanging out. Because the original context of the show, and this is the audio clip on the very beginning that I thought I was going to carry over into every episode, was new friends every single time. And it was just an excuse to bring all these different people together. And it's just like, Dane is the person that I talked comics with the most, to the point where my wife would call me and go, "Where are you? I miss you." Because I'd get off work and we would just sit there and shoot shit for an hour and a half.
Right.
And, you know, it was 9 o'clock at night. We'd be just hanging out. You'd be trapped there. So you were my private audience that you couldn't leave.
Well, and, you know, on top of that, doing security at a call center at night,
yeah,
not much goes on.
No, nothing happens at a call center. Like, there was that one time that someone broke in to threaten me. That was fun. Loved that one.
Or there was that one, actually, the one time that there was a fire that broke out in the cafeteria. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that one. Was it just a popcorn thing, or?
No, somebody dropped plastic on the grill and just let it sit there.
Oh, lovely.
And the only other thing that ever happened was on the project below DirecTV where you were working.
RCI.
Yep.
Yeah.
When they had that woman go crazy and attack HR in...
Oh, I do remember that. They attacked Rhea, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I remember that now. Yeah.
And I remember her having been tased by the cops, and she got bolted down to the stretcher to be taken out.
Gosh.
Because the cops were just like, "No, there's no way we can handle her. Just strap her down."
I hope she's okay now, right?
Well, and then she comes back 3 days later because she thought she was moving to a different project, so she wanted to talk to HR about that. It's like, you attacked Rhea and you scratched the other HR lady's face repeatedly. I don't think you got the job.
Yeah. No, the other HR lady was the one who, when I got threatened, she came up to me and told me it was my fault.
How is it your fault?
I know! I think what the problem was is that, like, I was a trainer at the time, and I was doing my job in challenging someone's thinking, and, like, why are you not 100% here? Right. In retrospect, I probably could have handled it differently, but not in, like, I wasn't doing such a job that your baby daddy needed to come in and threaten me. Yeah.
That's not okay.
It would just be like, hey, we're on this page. Hey, I said, let's do this, so let's make sure that, you know, in that way that a teacher who has no actual authority says anything. So yeah, that was a fun place to work for a while. But yeah, but the thought of, like, first episode, I want to bring in my friends who I know love to talk about comic books. So I brought on you, and I brought on Ginny, and there was a moment where you kind of, like, both of you were like, we worked at Convergence together, and we were both like, yeah. And then it was just kind of like this awkward silence before I hit record. I was like, "Ah, fuck! I fucked up. This isn't good." But I, like, if dear listener or viewer, if you look at the release date between episode 1 and episode 2, it's like a 5-month gap.
Right.
And I reached out to some other friends and I was like, let's talk Visions. I would love to talk Visions because Visions is a great comic book. And it had a lot of like weight behind it. And the 2 people that I invited both bailed on me. And it was the winter season and I spiraled. I was like out of control, like depression of like, no one wants to hang out with me and I'm sad. And it wasn't until you reached out to me. I was like, how's the podcast going? I was like, it's not going great, Dane. And you just like stepped up and you said like, well, I would love to do it again. I would love to talk about Avengers versus X-Men. And that's the 2nd episode. And it just rekindled my love for you as my friend of just like, this is such a good man. He wants to be a part of my life in the way that a friend needs to be. Like, hey, you need a friend every now and again to say like, you're an idiot. I love you. And I'm here to be with you. And that's what you did. And I'm very eternally grateful for you because you've been my best friend throughout so many. We've done this for like 2017.
Yeah, it's about 4 years, or technically 5 years.
Yeah,
because the gap.
Yeah, and we've gone through the shit like individually, but we've always been there for each other, and it's been
like, how many deaths have I had in my family where I'm just like, I am so done with all of this.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, I hope that answers the question. Why did you want to come on this podcast with me?
Is that your question?
No.
Well, my wife was the one who you reached out to me, and I was like, I'd love to do this because I love talking about comics. I love helping others see past the stigma of enjoying comics.
Yeah.
From either side, from the nerds who were always being picked on in school to the people who were the bullies.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll do it. And I remember before even recording, I was talking to Jessica and I was like, I am so fucking nervous. I am so worried about this. And she's like, well, why? It's like, because I don't know what anybody's going to think about me. I don't know if I'm just going to fuck things up. And she goes, just go, just talk. And I remember doing the first episode and I was like, yeah, I could totally see myself doing this again if David ever asks. And 5 months goes by and I hadn't seen any new episodes come out. And so I told Jessica, I was like, hey, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to reach out to David again.
Yeah.
And so I reached out and I could hear just how heartbroken you were that nobody else wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And I just had that knee-jerk reaction of, hey, you know what? I'll do it. And not only that, but would you be okay if this became a regular thing? If I became like a co-host?
Yeah.
Because, I loved spending time with you. I loved talking about comics. I loved just bullshitting about anything else anytime we went off on a tangent.
Yeah.
And so I'm very glad that I did reach out to you and I did think about you and worry about you again because this has helped me through quite a bit too.
Oh yeah, like we're carrying each other. We're lifting each other up, but we're also carrying each other at times. And there
have been so many times where you've called me out on bullshit thinking that I've had.
Yeah.
You've helped enlighten me and
and vice versa. Yeah. Like we've had so many moments of just like you bringing something to my attention of like I had never considered that aspect of it. Yeah. It's been a wild ride and I can't tell you how much I love you for it. All right, you ready for my question?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a episode or a comic that you like 100%, not like 100%, but you phoned in, not masking to a degree, but like, I read this morning, I don't get it, it's not for me, something along those lines. It's very vinegary, isn't it? It's not great.
It's very vinegary, but man, that spice, it just hits you instantly too.
It just coats your mouth. That one coats your mouth. It's all over there.
I have to admit, Sex Criminals. That was one that I didn't necessarily hate it, but at the same time, it was just like, okay, they stopped time by orgasming. I don't get it. I just really don't get it. And I know that you and I both love Matt Fraction too.
And Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want to love this, but I just don't understand it. So I will admit that one I did phone in, and I didn't wind up finishing the book until literally right before I got in the car to drive over here.
Yeah, I've had those. I've had those of like, shit, I recorded like 15 minutes. I gotta like hustle through these last few chapters.
The whole panic of, oh God, we're not done.
Was it the subject material? Was it the writing? Was it the character building? Was there something specific that didn't like mesh with you?
Yeah, actually, it was the subject material.
Okay.
I will fully admit that I have had a porn addiction since I was a kid.
Okay.
Because my dad got me into it. It took off and ran for the hills to the point where it affected my relationship with Jessica.
Okay.
And it was at a point where things were starting to become difficult with us. And it was because of my addiction. And so reading that, I was just like, oh man, I don't really understand it. I mean, it's too close to my addiction. And
Gotcha.
So I was like,
yeah, because that is something that the characters kind of struggle with, of like outside of their own relationships, of like having sex or masturbating or something along those lines. And for someone who might have an aversion to it in the sense of like, I'm trying to prioritize my mental health, I totally get that.
I am clean and sober, so
I'm very happy for you. I will say that, like, to me, my gut reaction on that one is there's no such thing as a porn addiction. But also at the same time, as someone who has I had an addiction to opioids in like my teenage years, because my dad was my dealer. Right. In that way of like, you're hurting, here's some opioids from a surgery that I had a few years ago, kind of thing. And so like addiction is such a broad term. Like we could talk about the DSM-5 definition of what addiction is, but there's also just that like, I just need serotonin in my brain. Right. And if this will help me achieve that thing, then there can be that addiction. Like you can't get addicted to weed, but you can get addicted to the habit of it.
Right. And that's what my addiction was the addiction to the habit of it.
Yeah. So that's very brave of you. If you want me to edit any of that out, please let me know. But thank you for sharing that. All right. We are ready for the next hot sauce?
Yes. And
okay. So the next one is the local brand. It's that one.
Z's hot sauce.
Yes, Z's hot sauce. It is triple hot. This is the one that I tried on. It is scorpion peppers, ghost peppers, and reaper peppers. I don't know if this will be hotter than the other one, because again, this is a local brand. I don't know what the hot sauce is on it.
Right.
But like, oh my gosh.
Let's torture ourselves.
Let's torture ourselves for the views.
And on this, it says that it's not a sauce, but a mash. Which that's what gets me, is because it's more more pepper than vinegar.
All right, is that a savory amount for you? Are you happy with that? You bastard. Should I get more?
No, you're fine.
All right.
Whatever you can handle.
I don't know what I can handle anymore. Oh boy. And like it smells strong. Like even just I haven't even okay, here we go. Dane, I'm scared.
Do you want me to go get a young priest and an old priest?
Oh dear Lord, no.
I mean, we're in Utah. So.
Get me a gay priest.
Right? The power of Christ compels
you.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
You got your question?
Yep, I do.
Okay.
Is there a book that we haven't read that you have been wanting to read?
Holy fuck. Oh,
that escalated quickly.
Oh, fuck. Oh, do I eat more? Do I not eat?
You're good.
Oh, I had the whole thing. Oh, fuck. Yeah, there's, kind of tie back into the last one. There's a series. Oh, fuck. Oh.
You got the hot sauce hiccups.
I do. Sunstone is one that I've wanted to have a deep dive on.
Having an emotional moment?
It was very, very near to my heart. However, because I know your aversion to... Oh, fuck. Oh, it's... every time there's a hiccup... Oh, fuck.
It's going up and down.
Oh, fuck. Hand me the bread, please.
There you are.
Thank you. So Sunstone is... Oh, fuck. Sunstone is about these two... it's a slice of life, but with kink and polyamory.
Okay.
That is something that resonates with me. My personal life. Oh, fuck.
Yes, bread.
Bread.
Bread, take a moment.
Oh, fuck. Oh, it's so fucking hot.
And why did you think of doing this?
I don't know. I thought it would be funny. In retrospect.
In retrospect, terrible idea, right?
Oh, right now. Yeah. Pain is only temporary.
Podcasts are immortal.
I was talking with Quinn about how, like, my ADHD makes it really hard for me to finish things. That's why I'm sweating. I am sweating, dude. Because podcasts are so great for that, because podcasts don't finish. So Sunstone is written by this guy, and he has a really great grasp of what relationships are like, especially in kink and polyamory situations. But there is a lot of sex in it, and I know that's not a big thing for you. So it's one in my back pocket of, like, Dane needs to take like a month off or something like that, but we got to hit a deadline for whatever reason. So I'd bring like Kaylin or someone down to Okay.
You're just like trying to sprint through this.
I'm really trying to sprint through it. And I think that you would probably enjoy it, but again, because of your aversion to this topic, like, it's not for you. That's fine. Preacher wasn't for me, and a lot of people love Preacher. Oh man. Okay.
Nose is all running.
What about you? Is there one that you've been dying to get to?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
And it's one that's only been recently out.
Uh-huh.
And it ties back into the unnecessary crossovers.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine versus Predator.
That sounds so dumb. I love it.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
So dumb, but it's Task Force X versus Predator.
Oh.
So you've got Wolverine, Sabretooth, Maverick. It's dumb. It looks dumb.
Yeah.
But the artwork for it just looks amazing.
A lot of those Predator-based ones are, like, I remember reading, I think it was Batman and Predator. That one's gorgeous. I read the Superman versus Alien, and that was bad. That's like late 90s territory, and that's not great, but yeah, those ones are super pretty. Ugh.
I think the Batman versus Predator 3 is my favorite, because the Predators are taking down all of Batman's villains, his rogues gallery.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to take down Mr. Freeze, and he's not in his suit. And the Predator's swiping through, and can't see Mr. Freeze.
Oh, that's so dope. I love that concept so much. It's such a great... Oh, it hurts to breathe. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we've done a lot of research, and in our most recent episode of Hellboy, we found out the artist, total piece of shit. Mm-hmm. Is there a comic book that you almost regret reading because you're putting on more? What the fuck? Is there a comic that you're like, you found out, like, oh, this person is not a good person, and we probably shouldn't have read this, or we shouldn't have put money into it, or something along those lines?
Actually, yeah. It's definitely Hellboy Seeds of Destruction.
How are you doing this?
I told you, I do spicy food all the time. Like, I can feel it, and it's a little tingly, it's a little painful for me, but I've been eating spicy food since I was way too young to actually be eating spicy food.
What the fuck, man? Okay, so it's Hellboy Seeds of Destruction specifically. Like, that's the one that you're like, oh, we shouldn't have read this one. We should have picked something else.
Well, and it's just because finding out what kind of a person John Byrne is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a company man. I'm not special. And then he's like, I'm gonna go play by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Starts his own thing. And I'm just like, dude, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the transphobia. I'm like, no, this guy does not deserve any of my time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really disheartening and really depressing.
Yeah.
Because he drew so many of my favorite X-Men storylines.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past. Just so many of the Claremont stories. I'm just like, I'm so saddened by that.
Yeah.
What about you?
This was one of the ones that you called out sick on. So you just had something come up, and I had brought in my friend Leah to read Warren Ellis's book. I don't remember what the title was, but Warren Ellis turned out to be a monster. So much so that there is a website dedicated to the women who have come out against Warren Ellis. And it didn't happen like in the same day, but it was like recent enough that I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with this. And like the episode is out, the episode like had come out, and it's just kind of like, what do I do with this context now? And I've kind of let the episode sit there because I don't know still what to do with it to this day. And the story was fun. Like Warren Ellis did the Castlevania TV show, not the most recent one, but the OG animated. You're sweating a little bit. You're getting that would definitely hit you. Yep. And that's the one that I like. It haunts me to this day. I'm just like, what do I do with monsters? How do I separate the art from the artist? And that's been a huge thing for you and I of like, what do we do with the content that is made, but has inspired so many? Right. Like we globally, let's talk about Call of Cthulhu, Lovecraft, and like H.P. Lovecraft is a monster. Even for racists, they think he was a little much.
Yeah.
But there's so many great things that have come out besides it. There's a Humble Bundle right now of Sherlock versus Cthulhu, of just like strangeness of it, and that sounds so fun. And like we can be inspired by terrible people, but we have to be reminded that like terrible things happen. And how do we learn from that? And that's been a big theme of our episodes ever since then, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few episodes that we've done where it has John Byrne.
Uh-huh.
And I was just like, oh yeah, remember when we did Superman True Grit? Shit, that was John Byrne.
Yeah.
X-Men Days of Future Past? Shit, that was John Byrne.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sullied not just one episode, but multiple.
Yeah. Chuck Dixon is also on that list of just like people I'm like disappointed by. But there's cool shit that they have done. Azrael as a character is so fun. Like this conflicted, brainwashed character who wants to be Batman in his own way. So good.
Did you listen to the Riddler podcast yet?
No, I haven't. I listened to the other one that HBO did that was very campy.
Yes.
But I didn't vibe with that one.
This is done by the same people who did the Harley Quinn, where Christina Ricci voices Harley Quinn, and Hassan Minhaj voices the Riddler.
Pulling it up now.
But it does deal with quite a few Chuck Dixon ideas, which again, great ideas, but terrible person.
What is it called again?
Excuse me, the Riddler. Fuck, I cannot remember. That heat's that starting to mess with me a little bit.
Yeah, that one.
The Riddler Unchained, I think.
Unchained. Okay. Did you hear about a bunch of people came out against Hassan Minhaj because like a lot of his stories were made up for his comedy? Yeah, so apparently a lot of his stand-up are lies. And I don't like this might be my autism speaking, but I don't understand. I'm feeling the highness now. I'm feeling it. I don't understand the frustration with someone telling stories and then you find out those stories aren't true when they're a storyteller. Like I don't expect a comedian's truth to be 100% that experience unless they're having that like pivotal moment in like who's the Australian queer comedian that had Nanette, who she did the bit called Nanette.
Yes.
Like when she has that like intensity and honesty, like that's the moment that I'm like, yeah, that better be fucking true, because that's not a joke, right? That's not something that you do a joke about. But to have Hassan Minaj being like, yeah, when I was a little boy running around in this town, and that town doesn't exist, okay, like
So what?
it's still the storyteller.
Right.
Again, as long as he's not making fun of people. But yeah. Yeah, he got under fire because some of his stories weren't true, in the sense of like they kind of were, but they were kind of twisted. But that's what a comedian needs to do to make it relatable.
Right. Like Jessica and I have been watching a lot of Dylan Moran lately.
Who's that?
David from Shaun of the Dead.
Okay, yeah.
His stand-up comedy is so funny, but it's also absurdist.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody were to say, "Oh no, we need to take him down because his stories aren't true," it's like, do you know how absurd that is, and how honestly that could not happen?
Mm-hmm.
And yet people are still giving Hassan Minaj flack for that. You're right.
No.
He's a storyteller.
No. All right, you ready for the next one?
No.
Okay, so this next one is a million Scoville. Melinda's ghost pepper wing sauce. That is like what they boast about on their website. You want fire? That's easy. Anyone can strike a match, but few can strike a balance. Balance where heat and flavor find themselves on equal footing.
So just because we're both fans, requiescat in pace.
Thank you. Ezio Auditore Differenze.
That's still my email address, by the way.
I know. Okay, here we go.
Man, my nose is still running from that last one.
Do you need tissues?
Yes, if you
yeah.
could, please.
Yeah. There you go, buddy. Is that a good amount for you? Are you satisfied with that?
I keep looking at you, and it's almost like, are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained by my suffering?
As you throw a gladius at the table that I'm sitting at.
Oh, fuck. Okay. All right, question number 5. The final question. I'll wait for you to sauce yours up.
It's running down the sides. There
Yeah,
we
this
go.
one's very wet. I'm imagining this is gonna be vinegary as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the smell is very vinegary. Okay.
Is there anything that you would change about the podcast?
Just went down the wrong pipe. Not the heat yet. I mean, it's hot. I don't know if it's as hot as the last one.
That last one was...
I think that last one was the bomb, like, in the sense of kind of going up and back down. I'm good. I'm really good.
Do it again.
Actually, that one's not bad. Hand me the bottle again. I'm gonna go for a round 2 on that one.
Just squirt it directly into your mouth.
Right in my eye. Oh, it's hot. I don't know if that's a million Scoville hot.
Side tangent, but when I worked at Convergys,
Yeah.
I was doing the night shift. Jessica bought me this ghost pepper hot sauce.
Yeah.
And put some of it on my finger, put it in my mouth, and it was nearly no vinegar. It was mainly just pepper, with ghost pepper. I was like, whew, that was spicy. 3 hours goes by. Hadn't washed my hands.
Oh, no.
And my eye itched, and I just went, whoop.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, God. I pepper sprayed myself.
That one's hot. It's not terrible. It's not even kicking me. Okay. So is there something that I'd want to change about the podcast? Yes or no? I love it. I think there's
Starting to hit you now?
I think it might be starting to hit me a little bit. My tongue is going numb. I legit feel it going numb. It's under the tongue first, and then it's wrapping back around the. I love the format. We're just so busy that it's hard to try and do more. like doing 2 episodes in a single sitting, in a single recording. That's really hard for both of us. We've got busy lives. You've got kids. I've got cats. One of them just went through surgery, and my wife just went through surgery, so it's been, hell. And we already had to reschedule this. I'd love to do more episodes. I'd love to do deep dives on a thing. Yeah, my mouth is going numb.
Your mouth is going numb.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's hard. Oh, it's not hot. It's just a lot of sensation right now. I'd love to do we go through all of a book. We go through all of we go through all of Ultimate Spider-Man. Because I think that'd be a lot to watch that character grow, and that's been my biggest complaint about Marvel Comics is we don't see that character growth, and a lot of times that character growth is reverted back whenever a new author has the reins or an event happens. Right. And I really hate how diminutive that can be to a character's just internal decision making. That we can watch someone do that with Ultimates would be really fun, but I don't also want to make it a chore because I know that there's going to be bad issues and it's just going to be I don't want to fucking read. Because if I read Preacher and it's just volume 1, then it's just volume 1. I don't ever have to come back to this. Right. But if we pick a comic that's so bad that we have nothing that we want to do about it, then I feel committed that we have to finish that thing. Because again, my ADHD does not want me to finish something. So those are the big things of I'd love it if we could do more episodes. And I would love it if we could dedicate more time to going through a catalog of a comic series. What about you? What's something? Oh, yeah, that's definitely coming in a little bit on the back end there. This was my question for you. Is there anything that you would want to change about the podcast that it is today?
Man, I can already feel the acid reflux hitting me too.
Yeah.
And never mind.
That poor toilet. It's hot. It's not as hot as the other one. Yeah, that one. Oh, you're going back for thirds on that slap. Oh, Dane, no.
Gotta mix the two.
You gotta mix the two? My gut is so unhappy right now.
Your gut's just what is he doing to himself,
Yeah.
David? Don't let him hurt himself even more.
Yeah. I'm glad I brought on extra wings so I could just have a palate cleanser.
Wow. Mixing the two is not a great idea.
No, I can't imagine it is. That's on you, dude.
That is on me.
That is 100% on you.
100% on me. Your answer is so incredibly close to mine that it's eerie. Because I would like to do more deep dives on different books.
Yeah.
I know that you want to do a deep dive on Ultimate Spider-Man. My brain's just wow, this is not pleasant. Don't do this at home. Please don't do this at home.
And if you do, we are not legally held responsible for your poor decisions.
But if you do this at home, send us the video. Anyway, there are multiple books that we've started reading that I do want to do deep dives on.
Yeah.
Invincible actually was one that I thought of too. Because I actually really enjoy Robert Kirkman. A lot of his books are so incredibly unique, like Marvel Zombies. Such a unique take on the zombie thing. His
characterization of is so well handled. You see these characters grow and develop, and you have these great standout. The caffeine is not helping on that one.
No, I bit a seed.
Oh, buddy.
That was a bad idea.
But yeah, you were saying Kirkman.
Kirkman just does so well with taking things that are stereotypes now, and just making them completely unique.
Yeah.
And now my tongue's starting to go down. It's but yeah, Invincible. I love it because it's Superman, but it's a unique take on Superman. And it's not even Superman, it's more Superboy.
Yeah.
Because, Dad is Superman. But it's like Brightburn. Did you ever see that?
I
James
didn't.
Gunn movie?
It's on my list.
You should watch it. And it's creeping back
Yeah.
up. After you watch it, make sure you stay through the end credits. Because it's basically a more realistic version of Superman.
Yeah.
Where he comes to Earth and finds out that he's an alien and then starts killing people.
Yeah.
It's such a good show.
I want to say there's a Mark Millar series. It might not be Millar. But there's one called Superior, and it's the same concept of Superman goes bad and how do we stop Superman? And I remember reading that one and thinking it was really good. I love that twist on everyday stories. I think that's a lot of fun when it's well done. Do you want a slice of bread or anything? You are sweating.
Okay.
You're red in the. I see that you're red in the face.
I am red in the face. I am sweating a little bit, but I know my body, and it's
okay.
It's good.
All right. Yeah. Maybe we try and do like 2 or 3 episodes. Like we just record a long. Like we set up a time where we just record and we make. It's still 1 episode, but we do like 3 episodes of recording worth in one go. When we used to do 3-hour-long episodes.
Like the New Mutants.
New Mutants, yeah. That's a great idea. Dane, that's a great idea. Dane, I fucking hate you. You're one of the best.
This idea was not so much a great idea.
You're one of the best things that's happened to my life, and I'm very excited that we've hit 100 episodes. So I wanted to let you know that I love you. You're one of my true best friends. I hate you so much that you agreed to do this thing and didn't call me out on it.
I love you too, and I'm having PTSD flashbacks.
From the Pakia chip?
Because it's hitting my stomach, and I can feel my stomach just rolling.
Fighting every bit of it. If you need...
My top lip, it's burning.
Yeah. It's like, where you bite your lip out of habit and whatnot? That's where it hurts the most right now on my lip.
For me, it's just because I happened to lick my lip and it's still coated in that capsaicin.
If you need something to throw up into, I got the garbage can right here.
No, I don't need to throw up, but man,
it is not having a good time.
Seriously, it does feel like I've been pepper sprayed just specifically right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Banaka, but not pleasant.
Not pleasant. That was an experience. I'm so proud of myself. I don't feel like I could do the hot ones per se, but I can't believe we did this.
Right?
I can't believe we did 100 episodes of this stupid little show. And I've learned so much about myself, and I've learned a lot about you, and I've learned a lot about the industry. And we have people wanting to come onto the show and talk to us about their silly little passion projects. And I can't imagine what the next 100 episodes are going to be like, but I'm very excited to do them with you.
That's I think the weirdest but most awesome thing about this is your idea of wanting to bring in friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening because we're actually starting to become friends with these comic creators.
Right.
And I'm just like, wait, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
What is this even? Because Adam Lawson, we've done a couple of episodes with him. And he's always so happy to be on. Kevin
Cuff and Bob France have been absolutely great. They've been chatting with us every now and again, and it's so good to see them just fucking excelling. They're not just writing a few like Adam Lawson. Like Adam Lawson's done a few, right? These guys are fucking killing it.
And I will have to admit, if we ever do an episode with Dave Baker again, I'm going to have to give him the 5th degree because I bought the Buckaroo Banzai sequel book because of him. I love that book, but man, it is so dense. Yeah.
I think he was just kind of helping on that one. I know he's not a major writer. I'll have to review our episode.
So he's not a major writer. He just did an episode with the author of the book.
That's right. Fuck. So, what are we doing next month, Dave?
We are getting stomach transplants
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and reading Akira, Volume 1.
Akira by Otomo. It's one of my favorites. That is definitely not one that you should let your kids read. That one's super fucked up. I recently watched Scavenger's Reign, which is gorgeous. And I've been describing it. Assuming you've seen the movie.
No.
You haven't seen Akira the movie?
Actually, no. I thought you were meaning that there was a scavenger.
My bad, man.
I was like,
my bad.
No.
Okay.
Yes, I have seen Akira.
So you know the transformation sequence near the end.
Yes.
Okay. So what if you wanted more of that?
Okay.
Okay. But what if you've seen Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind, one of the first Studio Ghibli films.
Right.
What if you wanted weirder monsters? Okay, but what if you saw the horrors of the demons in Princess Mononoke and you wanted them scarier?
Yeah.
That is Scavenger's Reign. So good. And it's inspired me that I want to go back through Akira.
Did you ever watch the movie The Guyver? Not MacGyver.
No, I have not.
Not the, but The Guyver is about a guy who finds this suit of living organic armor.
Uh-huh.
And it winds up bonding with him.
Okay.
And there's a company that finds another, they call it bio-boosted armor,
Uh-huh.
and uses it to create mutants. Mark Hamill is in this movie.
Oh, hell yeah.
He's a detective, and he winds up getting changed, and it's like the Thing.
Okay, yeah.
Like he's mutating like the Thing.
Yeah.
And it's horrifying. You see him twice in the movie as this mutated thing, and he's just this blob on the floor. But it's Mark Hamill still in the makeup.
Oh, that's terrifying. That sounds so good.
How you feeling?
I want to die. My stomach is so unhappy right now. I don't know how people are like, yeah, I'm going to go about my day after this. What the fuck? I need a nap. I need a purge. Oh.
I do have a suggestion for you.
Okay.
Something that will help.
Okay.
Lactose and potassium. So milk or bananas.
Okay.
Or ice cream and bananas. Because that will coat the capsaicin.
I've got root beer float waiting for me. My name's on it. That was my aftercare on this episode.
And then, like I say, a banana, because that will further bond with the capsaicin. It'll help you out, I promise.
Okay. All right. Well, letter grade. What did we learn today?
That if you want something really, really fucking hot, Z's hot sauce XXX pepper mash. Take it at your own discretion. We are not wanting to kill you, but if you do take it, don't put us in the suicide note, please.
It was good. It had taste to it.
It had great flavor, but Jesus Christ, that hurt.
Yeah. Don't do anything stupid like this. But it's been a good 100 episodes. I can't wait to do 100 more with you, buddy.
We keep telling them to be kind to themselves.
Okay.
Why aren't we?
What? It's easier to preach than practice.
Right.
All right, folks. Oh, man. Oh, my face is so hot. Well, this is where we will end our 100th episode special. Thank you so much for being with us for these past 100 episodes. Share the podcast with a friend. Email us if you want any recommendation or recommendations. We'll give you recommendations. Yeah. Or if you have any thoughts or opinions or books that you want us to read and share on the podcast, we would love to have you and have your words on the podcast. And as like we say at the end of every episode, a comic without a meaning is like a person without a soul. Good night, everybody.
You're like a drunk trying to get through that. Eyes closed.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Make it. Bye.